Morning, guys. Today is brief. Today is just a reminder. I want to remind you guys that the world is made up out of words. The world that you see outside, in the beginning, was the Word. And that story is your word. That's what you're seeing outside. In everything. In your jobs. In your relationships. Everything. It is the story you are telling yourselves that is creating the world that you see. Every moment you encounter yourself and your story alone. That's it. So it's a matter of becoming present with that word and with that story, is it not? What sense does it make to give this power to someone else? What sense does it make to not drop into your heart space and not know what's inside of you? See, there are two places in which you can exist. You have a partial existence in your mind. That is a partial existence. Is a record of everything that you have ever lived, every limitation you've ever encountered because of the story you told yourself. That's what that is. Right here, this space in your head. That's the storyteller, the record keeper, the conscious story that's going on and playing. And then there's the space in your heart. This is the place of your desire. This is God's will. And God speaks to you through your desires in order for you to be able to determine the truth over illusion. Because you see, in the God design, you stand in front of the eternal light with your imaginary conception and you cast a shadow. And that shadow that you cast upon the world is the universe. It is. Like, I cannot make this up. I've already seen the design. God showed it to me. God showed it to me because I'm supposed to teach others. So I can't make this up if I wanted to. Okay? Alright, so if that's the case, if your story is all that you got and your desires are the things that lead you, then dropping into your heart space every single day and becoming mindful of what stories you are telling will drastically improve the quality of your life. So if you do not have a self-inquiry practice, start it. Okay? The other thing I want to highly recommend is the I Am Discourses by Saint Germain. I want you to listen on repeat over, and over again. I want you to write down the things that catch your attention. I want you to listen to the words that are being spoken of for your benefit, because it is a direction inward. Your inner universe creates your outer world. And even when it appears that you're walking away from something, you're actually walking towards yourself. If you choose yourself, the reflection will follow. But if you make it about the reflection, if you put all your focus outside of you, you are already missing your mark. It's not how it works. It's not helping you in any way, shape, or form. It's exhausting to focus your attention outside of you and expect a different result. You see, because from the minute that you animate them in your head with your story, you gave them life. And so they act in accordance to how you think. And that's how the design works. It's about being non-dual. It's about looking in the mirror and realizing and being objective about what you're seeing. It's about not telling the same story over and over again. It's about giving life to the reflection, yes, but also by including yourself and being that for yourself first. It is not comfortable for you all to feel as if you are helpless. But the reason for being helpless or feeling that way is because you're already telling the wrong story and have become not conscious of it. But you need to be. You need to be. It's necessary. You see, because it's not about blame. It's not about focusing out there. It's not about getting upset about what you're thinking. It's like, oh, let me take a minute and listen to what I'm saying. So self-inquiry is important, you guys. It's important because it helps you realize where you're stuck, where you're trapped. Okay? If you feel as if you're not in control, you're already in your head space and not your heart and mind space. So take your time to become present to that. Take your time to become aware of the stories, because that is how your world is shaped. You were told this from the beginning. You know, a lot of people, they don't have the same relationship with the Bible that I do. They had the one I used to have, the one where we discount everything in there and we just don't pay attention and we don't think it's a big deal. And yet, it's our universal guidance system for us to have universal dominion over our world, so that we never suffer, so that everything we ever wanted appears like this, whether it's love, money, health, wealth, a new career, whatever is your desire. You see, and so when we dismiss that, and when we give that power to a news source, or we give that power to someone else, and we haven't understood that all that they're doing is mirroring back our thoughts so that we can know ourselves, then we've missed the mark already. Your entire power lies in being non-dual. It's a single eye. You must get through that eye with your camel. I'm playing with words here, but I want you to understand what that means. It means become very aware of your stories, because your stories are what's creating the world that you see outside. It is the most important thing you can ever do, is become aware of those stories, fall in love with those stories, and choose wisely what you will decide something means next. And if you come across an old recording, an old purged recording, something that you don't like, something that you haven't accepted about yourself, this is not a bad thing. This is the moment that you become aware and you realize, I just woke up to a story I don't like. I need to change it. Because no one acts outside of you as anything other than what you have decided they are. And it looks as if they were behaving like this before you got there, and I get that, except for the fact that you've forgotten that there's nothing else in this world except you and your stories and your source point of perception. And everybody gets their own source point of perception, because we cannot be divided. So when you move, the whole universe moves with you, and that's a lot of responsibility. I think a lot of people fear that, and that's why they push it away and they call themselves single, and they don't think that they're the universe, because that's more comfortable. Okay, but then that also leads to not having everything that you've wished and desired, because on the other side of knowing who you are is everything that you've ever desired. It's God's will for you. So I want you guys to really truly center in on that, because I find myself repeating myself a lot when it's all about them, and it's not. It's not about them. It's about you recognizing who you are, and it's about you recognizing that everything in the world that you see, you created. You created. God just went along in partnership with you and just said yes to everything. So if you create limits, God said yes to those too. Because that's all the partnership is. A yes, 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 yes. We don't have a no in our world. There's no such thing. However, you can decide, because as the design, you are the gatekeeper. You are the gatekeeper with your words. And your words determine whether you allow something in or not. Whether you've judged something incorrectly, whether you've forgotten that it is your creation or not. And it is so easy. It is so easy to say that's not me, and not be compassionate, not see the best, not do that. But do you realize that in that moment you are sending not love to the mirror, and when you get back the feedback, it will not be loving, will it? The power is 100% on you. You as source perception of everything that you've ever dreamed of. You came unto this earth with everything you've ever desired. Everything. And now, to the degree that you can accept that you are everything, you receive that. But there's a balance. There's a balance in becoming present to the stories you're telling to yourself, in becoming kind. And then there's the balance in knowing, wow, whatever I declare and whatever I expect is what will be. So let me become really present to what I'm saying and what I'm declaring. Let me not join in on the news media. Let me not join in when my friend says she's sick. I'm going to think about her wellness. When my love relationship doesn't look like it's going right, let me, instead of feeling like a victim, let me pay attention to what this person is saying and own it as myself so that I can change the direction, of where you're going. You want to change the direction of things because you and only you have that ability. I can help guide you, but at the end of the day, I'm not saying anything different. I'm saying become present to your power. Study the I Am discourses. Study the law. Know it. Know it is real because it is. It is. Have compassion, have love, and stop making it about an outside reflection, because it's not. It never has been. You guys, you know how many success stories I have of people that actually listen to me and whose relationship has turned around, who have created a little void and then boom, everything. Because that's truly the way it works. And it's the ones who don't listen. It's the ones who fight me. It's the ones who fight their own thoughts that have trouble creating whatever they want, and then they live in limitation. But the limitation is not real, it's the illusion. It's your desire that is real. And if you don't get to know that and start giving thanks for that being real, then you're missing the mark, because the whole point of your vessel is for you to drop into your heart space, to know your desire as God's will, and then give thanks for that, because that's what will happen despite all circumstances, despite all illusions. If I can heal someone and stop them from dying in a second, if I can give life in a second, if I can resuscitate dogs after they've been dead for 20 minutes, if I can get a man to go from yelling at me to praising how much he loves me, if I can get anyone to do that because I chose me, then I can stand as proof that that's how it works. And that's what you all need to understand. It's never been about them. Never. It's about you and the story that you're telling, because the mirror never lies. The mirror never lies. So it's not the moment for you to get upset with the mirror. It's the moment for you to become present with that story. And really, if you need to, write it down so that you can see everything you're thinking because you didn't realize you were thinking like that, fine. Write it down. But in the next breath, I need you to start writing of the good stuff. I need you to start writing in the good stuff. I need you to start writing in your desires as having already been completed. And then, like a witch, burn that paper that you don't need anymore. Witness this, and then stick to the new story, not the old. It's so easy to revert back to the state that we have known, and I understand that, which is why I'm compassionate about it. But I want you to understand that you also need to have your own compassion about it. You need to be mindful of the fact that if you've been in a coma, thinking one way forever, for as long as you've been alive and before you were alive, because let me tell you, in your grandmother's womb and in your mother's womb, you were totally recording your past lives. That's what created the story that you're unconsciously about. Okay? So you've been recording this for a long time. That is what I call a coma. Now give yourself patience as you learn how to walk again and how you learn to retell a new story, because that is why you were born. It's the only reason you were born. It's why you decided that precise moment you would be born to your family to fix and change what you have been living. And I know it sounds easier said than done, but it really is a matter of becoming present with you and your story and redirecting it and being loving and kind. And when something appears as you don't want it, instead of saying, I hate that, because you realize that you're hating your own story and you're fighting your own self, okay, instead of saying that, become present to that and start now changing your story. Start saying thank you for showing up so that I can see what I was doing wrong. And by right or wrong, I mean by not being compassionate, by not loving yourself, by not becoming present to this part of the story. Because I need to remind you guys that you, as the potter, never ask the clay what it wants to be. See, you take this story, the one that is combined with your heart and mind, your desires, you accept those as real, you declare that instead, and that's what you expect with every fiber of your being. You do not miss your mark when you're trying to get from point A to point C by getting stuck in the middle. I don't care what the middle looks like. I don't care what the middle looks like. The middle is point B, and if you crash land in point B, it is only because you were paying attention to the outside world instead of strengthening your inner story. And your inner story was what creates the outer story, so you have your work cut out for you, yes, but it is not a difficult thing once you realize that your inner story is what creates the outside world and what creates people in your image and what it means, what everybody is you pushed out means, or let us make man in our image, because those two phrases are exactly the same thing. It's a partnership. There is a light that is everything that you are that goes along with your word, and your word, this partnership, creates the outside world. You are that powerful, and if you don't know that, it's high time that you did, so that you can enjoy your life, so that you can actually live without suffering, because the truth is, in this world, we are not created to suffer. We're created to enjoy our desires. So if you don't have them, it's because you don't spend enough time with your desires and thanking the inside world for what has been created for you. That's it. That's the only thing that's stopping you from having what you want. It's the only thing. So that's what I want to remind you guys of. Please, first and foremost, become present to your inner story. Know the partnership. And then everything in your world changes. And I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who says it. Everybody is realizing this right now. In fact, Janice, who's watching, hi Janice, discovered that everything that she wrote down a few years ago has occurred in her life. And she realized something really important. She realized, oh, I haven't continued adding my story. I haven't continued creating my story, so it's starting to degrade because I forgot to keep writing the story. Because creation is an eternal process. It's how we live eternally. Okay, you guys? Try really hard to understand. Be specific. Many of you, you're asked to create a list of everything you want. You know, a lot of people have trouble with this. For example, one of the prosperity ways of teaching, like in seminars, you know, that kind of thing, right? They say, if money weren't an object, can you write out your 5-year and 10-year plan? What would you do? Do you know how many people can't make that list? Okay, so if they can't make that list, well, how do we expect the universe to bring us what we don't know we have? Same thing with an SP. Yeah? In an SP situation, you write everything, my friend too. God bless him. Okay? He's God-man activated. He's the real deal. Okay? 100% the real deal. He discovered that he created a list of everything that he wanted, everything that he ever wanted. He created this list, he wrote it down, he was very specific. Within a few months, he met her. And he got to show her the list. And she cried because not only did she get to see how he saw her, they got to prove the law together. But they did the work. They know the law. It works. If we don't get real specific about our desires, if we don't stop judging our desires, if we don't stop saying, oh, I can't because it's impossible because of money, because he acts like this or she acts like this but is your headspace. This but that you will insert after everything, that you give an excuse for why something isn't there, is your headspace. Your ego. That can only give you a recorded, detailed report of everything that you have lived when you didn't know who you are. Does it make sense to listen to the next phrase that comes after that but? No. Because in that moment, what you're doing is projecting the past into your future moment and getting that instead. So the next time you catch yourself, I want you to catch yourselves before you use that word but. And instead of using a negative phrase or a limited sentence or some kind of limitation or some excuse as to why you don't have what you have, I want you to drop into your heart space and accept your desires has already been done. That's how it's done. Your vessel must work in your heart and mind light, and you cannot fake it. It is a feeling sense that creates the world. Feeling is the secret. But it's remembering the law. And it's the most simplest law of all. It's whatever you want, you believe that you have it, and you do. So give thanks. That's the law. And there are no limitations to it. In the Saint Germain book, it tells you how to boil water simply by holding it in your hand. In the Saint Germain book, it tells you how to command wealth into your being simply by knowing who you are. In the Saint Germain book, it tells you how to grow back a limb simply by knowing who you are. So if you are not aware of what you can do, then the only person suffering is the person who's not trying to discover what that I am is inside of you that can do anything and everything. Right? There is a world in which your heart is never broken. There is a world in which the love you have for yourself is mirrored back so perfectly that you realize that you are the constant in the world. And that no matter what you do, no matter what you choose, you will always be loved so fiercely, so deeply, because you love yourself this way. That's where I'm trying to get you to. Because it's the end of all fights. It's the end of all arguments. It's when two people agree on that love, that's the most beautiful experience you can ever have. That counterpart energy. But first and foremost, you got to find it in here first, and then you project that outward. We're always projecting. Always. Otherwise the world doesn't exist. The universe actually disappears. It's supposed to. But there's a world inside of you in which you have made a complete and total flip, and your thoughts pretend to be people, places, and things. And they show you what you're doing inside. And that world is the world you need to know. And that's the world you need to love. And that's your source of power. And that's where you're fearless. And that's the place where you quit your job if it doesn't fit anymore. You let go of an old relationship because it doesn't fit anymore. And you lose all expectation about who's coming in or who's coming out, because you know, as the light, the shadow must follow. So then it's up to you to choose which version or body you wish to have. But it always works. First and foremost, don't judge against yourself. Give this power back to you. Know this. This is the only thing you've got. But it's everything. It's everything. It's everything. There's nothing in this world you cannot have. I'm serious. I'm so serious. So that's my recommendation, my loves. Please, take some time. Listen to the I Am discourses over and over and over again by Saint Germain. If you don't know what they are, I will leave a copy link. And I suggest that you pause them when you find something that you like and write down the phrases. Whatever resonates with you, you are supposed to use in the moment. Whether you're trying to create your wealth, whether you're trying to create the ideal relationship, whether you're trying to find self-acceptance. You're not doing anything wrong unless you're focusing outside and letting the outside world determine your inner state. Because that's what we've been conditioned to do, but this is what we're learning to not do. There's a subtle difference when we know that we are the source, and then the universe conforms to us, not the other way around. It's a very subtle thing. And it's always working this way. That's the funny thing, is that it always has worked this way, but we're not aware of it. So let's become aware of it. Because that's really all that it is. Becoming aware that realization is manifestation. And you don't have to do any tips, tricks, and things like that. But you do need to do that much work. And that work entails getting to know your I Am presence within. And knowing that I Am presence is the intelligence in everything. It heals my dog when it didn't look like he was going to make it through the night. And it healed me when I didn't look like I was going to make it through the night. I don't look sick, do I? Okay? You have to know this power. Despite all outside illusions. And if you don't, you're suffering at your own choice. That's a choice, to suffer, that's a choice. But it's not the choice God gave you. See, God said, I want you to have everything you ever want. I want you to go enjoy yourself. I want you to actually have a blast and know that everything I have is yours. So go play. And if you're not playing and enjoying your life this way, then don't you think we've already missed the mark? Yeah? Alright, you guys. I'm going to get back to taking care of my dog and get back to taking care of myself. I'll resume talking to everybody on Tuesday. Okay? But I just want to take this moment because I know I was starting to feel a little like I repeat myself for no reason at all. And so I know that that's not the case. But I really want you all to know this power within you because it is the end of all suffering. It's the end of all limitations. All of them. And no matter what happens, in every circumstance, in every storm, you can be like Jesus. And while everyone's freaking out because of the storm, you just look and you just say, it's calm now. And it is. Because I do that. I do that. I make the sun come out. I make the rain clouds come and pour. I do that. We all do. But you have to know that power because it makes you so happy to know that you are the universe. And so now everyone that you talk to will be as loving as you are as long as you are in love with yourself. And becoming in love with yourself means becoming aware of your stories, accepting them, having compassion for them, changing them if they need to. This is why you were born. And then reaping those benefits. I want you all to reap the benefits of knowing who you are. That's all I want. Because it's too good not to share. That's why I drop everything I'm doing to tell you guys have got to check this out. It's awesome. Yeah? I love you. And think about what I'm saying. I will add the links here below. Really, truly get to know your I Am presence, because I'm telling you, it's the only relationship in the world worth having. That's your house, your vortex, everything you ever dreamed of is waiting on the other side of that. Choose you. Choose you. And I promise you, you will not regret it. No matter what it looks like, there are no losses in the universe, there are no voids in the universe. None. Zero. Love that mirror, you guys. It's worth it. It's so worth it. Bye.